Hi, I'm Tom with the SPB production channel, and in this tutorial I will show you how to use buildingSMART data dictionary to classify objects inside of Bonsai BIM. And I'm not talking about classification as if this is IFC wall or IFC slab, but a classification system like Uniclass, OmniClass, etc. And I'm using Bonsai 0.8.4. First, what is buildingSMART Data Dictionary? It's a service by buildingSMART that contains dictionaries with definitions of terms to describe the built environment. So most commonly it's information about the IFC schema or some other classification systems. And this data can be plugged in directly, and it's plugged in directly into Bonsai BIM. So you can actually search the contents of bSDD on a web. If I search for wall, you can see that all of the different terms regarding wall show up, and they can be either information from the IFC schema or some other classification systems that may be part of the bSDD. So let's jump into my sample project in Bonsai BIM, and let's see how we can use the buildingSMART data dictionary data to classify objects in Bonsai BIM. So here in the project overview tab, I will scroll down, and here we've got this drop down on the project setup, buildingSMART data dictionary. And if I click this drop down, I can see that none of the bSDD dictionaries is loaded. So I want to load my classification system that I will use. So I will load bSDD dictionaries, and this shows up all of the dictionaries that are available with different classification systems. So there's quite a lot of them, and they can be company classification systems or some official ones. So if you want to search, and I want to search for CCI, so I will click this drop down and type in CCI, and this shows up the CCI construction by Molio. So I will choose this one because this one is used in my country. So I will now just check this checkbox, and this means that this classification system will be loaded. So now let's say I wanted to classify this wall object. So I will go to the object properties, object information, and down here, actually, instead of classifying the individual instance, it would be smarter to actually classify its type. So I could select the type of the wall and then classify the type. But for the sake of this tutorial and to make things easier, I will classify just the occurrences or the instances. So if I scroll down here, I've got this classification references drop down, and if I show it, you can see that there is no active classification library selected, but here I have drop down where I can select the classification libraries, and you can see that I've got the CCI construction available here. So I will select it, and now I can search for the classification entries inside of the CCI construction library. Now what's important to note is that this filter is enabled by default, and this one filters the output of the classification library based on the IFC class that this object has assigned. So now if I search for no text string and I just click this search button, you can see that the search reveals all of the classification references that are available for the wall class. I'm not sure how this filtering works exactly, but for some classification systems it works, for some it doesn't. For CCI it works, so I've got several classification references that I could use, and I know that I want to use this wall plate class. So I will select it and click this Add Classification Reference. And when I click it, this classification reference is assigned to this object. Now let me show you. Of course, I would want to classify usually more objects at once. So if I select this wall and this wall, I've got these two selected. I scroll down here, I've got still the filtering turned on. This is active, so I will add this classification reference. And now if I select this wall, you can see it has this reference assigned, and this one has the reference also assigned. If I click something else, it has no reference assigned. Now, while having this IFC slab selected, let me show how this filter works. If I now search for appropriate classes, you can see that it's filtering and it's offering me slab structure, fall structure, etc., which should be okay. But let's say I wanted to classify this as also a wall. In this case, it's not correct, but it would not enable me now to classify it as a wall. Now, if I search now for a wall and hit this search button again, you can see that the search shows no result. This is because it's still filtering for the categories available for the IFC slab objects. But if I uncheck this active IFC class filter and click this search button again, it shows all of the classes which contain the wall text. So I could actually select this wall plate. It's of course not correct, and I could add the classification reference like so. Now let me save the IFC file, and let's now take a look at how the IFC file looks like in an IFC viewer. And I will use BIM Vision because it shows the it shows the classification quite well. So now if I select this wall, it's selected. You can see that here, if I click the classification, you can see that this is the classification reference. It's the wall plate, and it also shows which classification system it's using. So this is how it's exposed inside of a viewer that shows the classification. So let's get back to Bonsai, and let me also show an example how Bonsai handles a more complicated case when I have multiple classification references assigned to one object. So in case of CCI, I know that most of the objects like walls should have assigned 3 different classification references from CCI based on the 3 facets. So I will select the 3 walls that I'm working with. So let me select also this one. So I've got these 3 selected. And now I will check the filtering, delete the text, and it will show me the ones that are filtered correctly. And in the 3rd facet, I know this should have this classification reference, the wall system, and it's also not wall structure but wall construction. So I will also add this classification reference to these 3 walls. So these 3 walls have these 3 classification references assigned. And let me also show you if I want to have object classified in multiple classification systems. How would I do that? I will go back to the project overview tab, and here I will load another bSDD dictionary. So I will cancel this filtering, and I will use the ETIM, and I will use the ETIM, this one, the last version. So I will just check it. And now if I go to the object, I've got still these 3 walls selected. Here I can see that I've got either I could select the CCI construction or ETIM. So I will check ETIM. And now you could see if I check the search button, the ETIM does not work well with this filtering inside of Bonsai for the IFC class. So I will actually have to uncheck this. So I will search for story panel, and if you hit enter, it doesn't work. You have to click this search button to actually start the search. So I have this story panel. I will select it and add this to the classification reference, and you can see that these three walls have this classification assigned to them. But if I click this one, it has, you can see that the wall plate is only still assigned. So now if I save the file, and we will look at it in BIM Vision again. So I will open it in BIM Vision, and here I will select the wall and look at the classification. You can see these two different classification systems, and inside of the using the CCI construction classification systems, you can see those three classification references assigned. So this is really nice, and also some other information which is assigned to. So this is how you can classify objects using the bSDD inside of Bonsai BIM in native IFC. Let me now also tell you what I discovered, what I was a bit surprised about, and that is in the bSDD as of end of 2025, when I was searching for OmniClass, I did not find any OmniClass dictionary, and I also did not find any Uniclass, which was a bit surprising to me because this one is used in Great Britain. And actually, if you look at the buildingSMART data dictionary pages, you can see that Uniclass is present here, but probably because it's just a preview, it's not available to be loaded inside of Bonsai. I'm not sure about this. This is just my assumption, but I think it's like that. And as for OmniClass, if you search in the bSDD, the official English OmniClass is not here. The only OmniClass that I found is this German one, and it's called Universal Types, but it's using German language, so I did not find the English version of OmniClass on bSDD. So this is how you can use the buildingSMART data dictionary to classify objects inside of Bonsai BIM. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.